Welcome to Colorado Soul Stories, showcasing changemakers and creatives, past and present, who have helped to make Colorado not just a pretty place to behold, but a soulful place to be. I'm your host, Mama Jill, longtime Colorado resident, former teacher, and freelance journalist. Let's get started with our next episode.
We were each other's favorites. We would always say, what if all that ever hurt just needed kerosene and everything looks beautiful and nothing's clean.
Support for Colorado Soul Stories comes from Thirst Colorado magazine, featuring exciting adventures, eclectic arts, and tasty craft drinks and food from all over Colorado. Consider Thirst Colorado your source for what to do and where to go to eat and drink after your adventures. This current issue profiles a larger-than-life Colorado artist, hidden gems to visit around Colorado, and lists hundreds of summer events statewide. Pick up a copy for free around town or check them out online. Hello, everyone. It's Mama Jill. I am walking through historic downtown Salida right now, on my way to see one of my favorite musicians that lives in this area. His name is Justin Allison. Justin plays a beautiful acoustic jazz guitar and sings along some beautiful jazz standards, some 70s soft rock. He makes it all sound good. I'm going to meet up with some friends. It's sunny, but it's chilly. Stay tuned, and we'll listen to a bit of Justin pretty soon. Almost there. I can hear Justin playing.
Take this to open up your heart. That's the love romance.
We're here. We call it our music family.
I have known Justin Allison for a number of years, but I like his music because he's almost like a Tony Bennett kind of sound and voice, and just an amazing guitar player. So you mix the voice with the guitar and
Right? Yeah. He's a winner.
like a crooner. Remember, is that the right word?
Crooner.
Crooner.
Yes, Did you say cougar? I'm at Chavano Avenue Studios with my musician friend Justin Allison. Hey. And he brought his beautiful guitar. Do we call that guitar anything different?
It's a nylon string classical guitar. It's not the one I usually play on the gig.
They're both
a
beautiful.
hybrid, but yeah.
Yeah, that one. Tell me about that one, hybrid-wise.
It's a Godin, Godin.
Oh.
They hand make the parts in Canada, and then they ship them to New Hampshire and assemble them.
Okay.
It's not a handmade guitar completely. It's a real hybrid in that it's built to amplify.
Right? Okay. Yeah.
And that's why I use it, because you get in situations where if I took this guitar, it might feedback in certain situations. That's a whole other story.
Okay, so I'm going to go into where I first heard Justin, which was here in Salida, or technically Poncha Springs, at Vino Salida, which is no longer here. It's a different establishment.
Perks Works, and they're starting to do music. I actually played out there last Saturday. They make their beer in Alamosa.
I've heard of that, yeah.
And they're a great couple, and Derek and Lacey, and they have a couple of sweet kids. Yeah, so I wish them well.
Stop on in there.
Absolutely.
Especially when Justin is playing.
And they're supporting music, so.
Yeah, and what I loved about that venue was I could hear you.
It was a listening room, and that was so rare.
Yeah.
Those are so rare.
It is rare. Sometime at the Velveteen show with Crystal.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
I felt like
Crystal Bliss. That was our debut.
Okay. How would you describe her voice?
It's really pure. It's got a beautiful timbre.
Yeah.
And she sings the song straight ahead, and she touches the essence of the song.
Yeah, that's a good description,
yeah.
as do you in your own way. So how would you describe what you do musically?
Naming yourself, describing yourself. I've always wanted to be a jazz player. I don't know that I'm a jazz player, but I play a lot of jazz.
Yeah, you do.
I am a jazz player, and I love Brazilian jazz. Yeah. But I do a ton of different tunes, contemporary tunes, pop tunes.
Right.
But I usually redo them in a jazz or Brazilian jazz way, which some people hate. Some people are like, wow, that's interesting.
We were talking before we started recording about how some don't participate in listening to jazz because they're afraid they're not going to understand it. So when I'm sitting there with some of my friends that might reluctantly go hear jazz, and you play a song maybe by James Taylor or something, they'll be like, I know that song. And so to me, that's like a gateway into more jazzy listening.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll take a James Taylor tune and I'll do it completely different. I'd rather hear somebody interpret music from their own perspective and their own heart.
Yeah, and I love the way you do it. And there's a wonderful magic of the blending of your playing and your voice together. And then you speak in other languages sometimes, which just blows me away. You sing in other languages.
I do some Brazilian jazz tunes I'm actually scatting in a Portuguese accent.
Oh.
Because I maybe know a handful of words in the tune that are actual Portuguese. I tried to learn them in a way that I was actually singing the song, and then it was really challenging. And so I just moved on.
Okay, but when you do sing, I'm blown away with the fluency of your...
That's funny. I love it because, I play in Vail a lot, and when we get a lot of Brazilians. Okay. And I'll be doing one of those songs, and I'll be singing that, and I can see, it's like a dog whistle. Their ears go, their heads turn, and they go,
neat.
That's not right.
Okay.
But it's just fun, I'll do stuff like that. Dorovalca e mi fa blu brush, que ve que dom prazer. So the first line was actual Portuguese.
Yeah.
Second one was just made up.
Oh, really? Wow, you're good.
So literally I'm scatting in a Portuguese accent, sort of. It's funny.
You're telling a secret that most of us don't know.
I admit that. I admit to that. And I say that I don't sing in Portuguese. I sing in Portuguese.
Okay.
Portuguese.
Portuguese.
F-A-U-X. Yes.
Okay, so we also just talked off mic, and I got to catch up. I hope this isn't a secret, but you label yourself a little bit as an introvert, and you're not the first person that I've met that performs in front of people that says that, so they're not mutually exclusive. And you mentioned your mom knew that about you and started at what age to help you?
Yeah, I was a shy youngster, and my mother's very social. I grew up in a small town.
Where?
And in DuBois, Wyoming.
Wyoming, right.
Yes,
okay.
not Dubois.
Right,
DuBois.
we don't say it right.
Yeah,
Salida.
And there's a reason for that too that don't need to go into.
Okay.
But yes, and so she insisted that I look people in the eye and shake their hands and say, "How do you do?" Which was all well and fine as long as that's all I had to do.
Sure.
But to carry on a conversation that was,
Yeah.
Then I started playing music with my dad when I was 12, playing trumpet. And my mom insisted that I sing. And that was scary. Because I think I sang in church and maybe with Dad a little bit here and there, but standing up in front of people and singing was...
It's very vulnerable.
Yeah, and I didn't feel like a singer, I mean, I heard singers, and it's like, I can't do that. But bless her heart, I'm so glad she made me do that, because it's everything in life to me, singing and playing.
Clearly.
I mean, it is it's not just my living, it's my therapy, it's my meditation,
It's your positive thing you put out in the world.
Yeah. Well, I hope. Because ears are open. Everybody's listening, whether you know it or not. And so what you put out there resonates sometimes.
Think about it. Yeah, you put it out intentionally. There was something on your website. It said, a magic portal to connect on a visceral level, fighting separation. Did you say that?
I did.
Yeah.
And that particular line... I probably would attribute to my wife Jamie too, because she'll read my stuff and she writes a lot, and that's her endeavor of
putting things
therapy and expression.
So you said you played and sang with Dad.
My dad was a great musician.
Okay.
And he started out playing professional at the age of 5, playing drums.
Cool.
And with 3 older guys in Nebraska, and the name of the band was Half Pint Allison and his 3 Quarts.
Oh my God. I love it.
And Dad said that's what they drank at night was
little moonshine.
Yeah. So he played drums for many years, and then he started playing clarinet and saxophone. And one time when they were on a gig in his teens with his high school cohorts, they had their stuff in an overhead carriage container, and his clarinet case came open and it got smashed. And at the same time, the lady who was a piano player with the band, who was a piano teacher, an older woman, said, I can't do this anymore. I got to retire. And so Dad started playing piano.
Oh, because he could.
He's all self-taught.
I mean, for you to go from trumpet to guitar, to me is very different.
Yeah. When I first started playing guitar, I remember I brought one home and he said, Can I? And he picked it up and he just started plinking and playing melodies,
Okay.
And it's like, so that was fun to watch. Yeah. But when I played trumpet with him, he played B3 organ, and he had a piano to the right of his B3, and so he'd play B3, and then he'd take a piano solo, and then he'd pick up his trumpet and play trumpet and B3 at the same time, and we'd play duets with me and play,
So clearly an influence and the genetics involved there that are in you too. Pete?
Yeah. He, as I like to say, he gave me a life in music, and then he showed me music in life. He was one of a kind. As soon as he started playing, the dance floor, boom, people were up, and because he had this groove, this rhythm, and that to me that's music.
The music that immediately captures the audience and connects with the audience. That is more magical than average musician, for sure.
Yeah.
Interesting. The rural roots, but the variety of the music that he was doing. Super cool.
And he was a cowboy, too. I mean, I grew up on a ranch.
Expand on that.
Yeah, so
up in Wyoming?
Yeah. I mean, that's the only other thing I know how to do besides play music is herd cattle and horses.
Wow.
And fix fence.
You've got that cowboy cred.
I do have that cowboy
real
cred,
cowboy, not just some guy wearing a cowboy hat.
I rodeoed a couple of years out of high school, and it was never any good.
That's okay, because that might have messed up your head. You wouldn't be able to do music.
Yeah.
How did you get to Colorado?
Well, being the neighbor state, Colorado, the big city of Denver. I think the first time I came to Colorado or Denver was for the stock show when I was, a kid.
Yeah.
We went to the stock show several times. And early in my life, Dad actually showed in the quarter horse shows at the stock show. He was a good horseman. We had really good horses. And, anytime you needed to do something, you went to Denver.
Back then.
To do it. Yeah. The city was Denver.
A little isolated.
Yeah. Little bit of trivia.
Yeah.
Du Bois is the only place in the lower 48, the only town in the lower 48 states where power and telephone lines dead end. You're going over to Jackson and you're going, through the National Forest and so those lines dead end.
Wow.
That'll get you something on Jeopardy.
I love that connection to the stock show because that's old Denver.
Yeah.
So my neighbor over here, she's 90. She grew up on a ranch near Summit County, and that was an annual thing that they did. Go on the train down to Denver.
Yeah.
With the cows.
With the cows on the train. Cool. Yeah.
Okay, so you'd visit. I'm assuming you moved down on your own at one point.
Yeah, after graduation and when I went to college.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to Casper College in Wyoming, and then I went to the University of Wyoming. And while I was at the University of Wyoming, there was a band from Black Hills State. It was a horn band, like a funk, rock and roll, R&B horn band, that came and played a dance at the university. And I was like, wow, those cats are great. I'm going to go to school up there and join that band.
Okay.
And that's what I did.
You did? Did you join that band?
Yeah. And I didn't know anybody in the band. I had a friend who was going to Black Hills State College, and I called him, and I said, hey, Joe, I'm thinking about coming to school up there. What do you think? I heard this band. He goes, oh, yeah, the Shells, they're great. And you should come up here. It would be fun. So I went there, and I found out who was in the band.
Okay.
And I walked over the table in the center in the university and said, hi, my name's Justin. I play bass and I play guitar.
And I bet you
and I
already
sing
knew
and
their
I want to be in your
names.
band.
So, did you play trumpet in that band?
A little bit.
Okay.
I did when we needed it, but I played bass and guitar depending on how we did that.
Okay.
But we traveled around and did that thing. So I was on the road for a long time. And then I went back to Wyoming. I took a gig in Jackson for the summer, and I met a whole bunch of musicians from California.
Ooh.
And I went to California with them, and we had a band, and then every winter and summer, we would come out and play the ski areas.
You've been doing that for years. Okay,
Yeah.
let me go back a little bit. Had you played in a band other than like in school before you did the Black Hills?
Well, in high school, I was playing with my dad, and I had some friends who wanted to play rock and roll, and so we all bought guitars and tried to teach ourselves stuff.
Right,
And so
which is what
we did that.
you boys in high school usually love to do. Yeah.
Yeah. But I also had my older sister, Jane, moved to Denver right after her graduation, and she was working in Denver, so she was there.
You had a connection.
So whenever I was traveling, I'd always go to Denver and see her.
Okay.
And then the connections in Vail and Steamboat and Breckenridge. And I was literally on the road for almost 15 years.
Wow.
You know, traveling a lot. Because that's how you had to make a living. You
Yep.
know, we do okay in California in the clubs, but you have to travel there too.
Right.
And then I realized that in Vail, I could get a residency. I could get a sit down and work 5-6 nights a week.
Okay.
And so that's what I did.
So the first time I met you, we chatted a bit, and there was a band in Denver that you were associated with.
Yeah, and I did live in Denver. I moved to Denver in, I think, the winter of '85. That's
Yeah.
when I moved to Denver. And that's when I met all these great, great jazz players
Okay.
in that area. Because Denver was hot for jazz in that time period.
Well,
I mean,
KUVO started that year. I happen to know.
Oh, did it? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a
Interesting.
big deal to me.
Timothy P. and the Rural Route 3.
Right? Yeah.
They played in Vail a lot, and I was there, and I used to go hear those guys. When the band that I had from California, we'd often either follow them into a venue or they'd follow us, and there'd be some crossover time, and would hang out, and just a great bunch of guys.
So friends.
Yes.
Not you weren't in that
Yeah.
band.
No. Jerry asked me, and I can't remember the guitar player's name, and they called him Muttonhead, which was unfortunate because it didn't seem like a Muttonhead. He was a great guy, great guitar player, and he said, "Man, our bass player's leaving. Would you be interested? Because I've heard you play bass, and I've heard you do this and the vocals." And I said, "Wow, that's really interesting. I think let me think about that." And I was intrigued.
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, we have a dental plan."
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm going, interesting.
That's
We have
rare.
insurance and a dental plan.
Wow.
I just thought that was something I never forgot. But Jerry, here's a little throwback to, we were talking about my guitars and the Godin guitar that I play.
Yeah.
Jerry used to work at Melody Music down on Broadway in Denver, and I bought that guitar from him.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So that was
Back
fun.
then.
That's-
So you've had
yeah.
that guitar a long time.
I've had that. That's been my main axe for over 30 years. Yeah.
You keep such good care of it. It looks brand new.
It's taken care of me.
Yeah, right?
It's been pretty beat up, but it's still
Oh.
a thing.
It's your
yeah.
best friend.
It is.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah.
Oh, I hear ya. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. So I swear you showed me pictures of yourself with long hair, longer
Oh yeah.
hair,
Yeah, I used to.
and kind of in a hair band or a rock band. What was that?
Well, let's see. I did play in different rock bands.
It would have been 80s.
It would have been
by the looks of it.
Actually, by the time, not in Denver though. By the time I got to Denver, I wanted to move into a different world, the jazz world.
Okay,
But yeah, I played in rock and roll bands, because
for fun, to get
Yeah.
girls.
yeah, exactly. And it was fun. It was great fun.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, and we survived it.
But yeah, surviving.
Oh, actually, I was on the road with a band from Fort Collins called Kate Bennett and Sleeping Under the Stars.
Ooh,
I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, I was in that band for
Fun.
8 months. I was playing bass. We had bass and drums, and then there was a pedal steel player who also played guitar, and there was a vibes player who played banjo. So we'd start out doing like Peter Rowan stuff, and then Kate fronted the band
Okay.
and sang and played acoustic. And we'd start out doing all these interesting sort of country rock tunes, and then by the last set, we wanted to think we were Pink Floyd after a couple of tequilas and a beer. So it turned into a rock. It started as a bluegrass country rock band and ended up as a rock band. It's funny. I've forgotten about that era of my life.
Some of those eras I'm fine forgetting myself.
Yeah.
So you were always fluent in jazz guitar?
Well, no, gosh,
Where
no.
did that
And
come
I'm
from?
still not. I mean, that's what I'm working on, and I continue to work to be a conversationalist with real players. And
I like that. Like musically
Yeah.
conversational.
Yeah, because that's what jazz is.
Yes.
And well, all music is a conversation, should be.
Yeah.
But jazz in particular is a conversation because the improvisation starts, and you have to listen to everybody in the band, and you have to react to them while they're reacting to you. That's
Oh, yeah.
a conversation, and my vocabulary is that of maybe a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old,
Well,
and I'm in a room of academics.
Wynton Marsalis has a wonderful book out about jazz.
Oh yeah,
Have you ever read it?
no, I haven't.
I'll send the title to you, but he talks a lot about that. He'll take up a whole chapter talking about the
yeah.
conversation between the musicians, and it's very poetic. He had great words in that. I did see that you actually played with Tuck and Patty or opened for them.
I opened for them a bunch of times. Yeah, when I was in California, one of the guitar players I was playing with was a good friend of both of them. He was a better friend of Patty's. And he said, hey, a couple of my friends are playing for the first time at this little wine joint. Let's go hear them.
For the first time.
Yeah. Well, they had played, that was their second gig as a duo. Their first one was for a wedding.
Oh my gosh. And where was this?
The gig was in Saratoga, California. I was living in Los Gatos and Santa Cruz. I'd go back and forth.
Fun. Okay, yeah.
And David Scheibner, my good friend, who's back in California, he produced a lot of artists. He took me out there to see them, and I was just blown away with both of them. But mostly with Tuck, because I've never seen anybody do that on guitar.
Thank you. What time period would you say that was?
That was, I don't know, maybe 76.
I didn't discover them till 10 years later.
Well, they didn't record until they did club gigs,
Okay.
and they were getting ready. It was interesting because I'd go see them anytime I wasn't playing, and they were. And I watched the evolution of their first recording because they did those songs and they kept honing them, and it was
Love
really
Warrior.
interesting.
Was that the first album?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I think it
that's
was
the
just
one I
called
bought.
Tuck and Patty. Yeah,
Okay.
and I can see the cover, but it only had a couple of tunes that they'd written, so they were almost all cover tunes.
Okay.
But there's two of the most wonderful human beings I've ever encountered. And after I started seeing them, I said, "Hey, Tuck, could I record you guys one night?" And he goes, "Sure." And I said, "I just have a little, cassette player."
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah, just bring it in. I'll plug it into the back of the system."
Oh, what a sweetheart.
Yeah. So I have these recordings of Tuck and Patty before they recorded them. And I go home and I'm listening because I want to learn these songs, listen to what Tuck's doing. And then that's when I went, oh my God, Patty is amazing. Because when I'm there to see them, I'm looking at Tuck.
Right.
And I'm hearing everything. But now I'm not seeing anything and I'm listening and I'm going, my God, what an incredible vocalist.
Yes.
What an incredible duo. So two wonderful musicians that have that conversation
Yes.
in life and in music.
And so I gotta say, so I just found out when I looked more thoroughly on your website that you had played with them. And when I first saw you, I thought of them right away.
Oh, that's
because
sweet.
you were the first guitar player that had ever come close to Tuck.
Oh boy, that might upset Tuck.
I mean, he's
just
still
kidding.
great.
I'm just kidding. No, well, that's really a compliment. And I think I said 30 years ago, when I grow up, I want to be Tuck and Patty.
You kind of are together. You've got that beautiful, smooth voice like she has. So you're kind of them within one person, if you don't mind me saying.
No, I'll take that.
A weird thing to say.
I'll aspire to that completely.
Wow. So speaking of other people you've played with, do you have any particular memorable performances or great performances that you felt that you did your best?
That's funny because I get up in the morning every day. I play a couple hours.
Oh, good.
And I work on tunes. I know tons and tons of tunes. And if I don't play them often, they'll go away. And so I'm always playing tunes, and I'll sit in my little room and I'll play and I'll go, wow, if I could just do that on a gig.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, because I'm so connected to the tune, and there I'm safe to express myself in a way that I don't often feel that way on a gig.
Yeah.
Having said that,
Yeah.
on every gig that I play, I do get that connection where it's like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. It might just be for a couple of tunes, or it might be for an hour.
So knowing that and having talked to some other musicians about this piece, I'm sure the venue and the audience can feed or not feed into that.
Definitely. And sometimes it's even more unnerving when people are listening because
Oh, okay.
you can second guess yourself. I mean, I remember nights at Vino Salida where it was like, wow, this is just so nice to play to people listening. Am I worthy to offer this? So you have that.
I will tell you, absolutely.
But you get that voice in the back of your mind where when I'm sitting there playing for dinner crowds, it's like, doesn't matter. I'm going to tap into
maybe you can
something.
go in a zone there.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I do. And I probably have had more moments of connection in those situations than I have in concert situations, which is just tragic. But I'm working towards something. I'm working towards that. And I feel like I'm starting to get there because I'm not going to say the older I get, the more radically experienced I become.
I like that.
I'm feeling more comfortable, and I'm also caring less about what anybody else thinks at this point.
You need to talk to Jen Dempsey because she was talking to me about that.
Oh, yeah.
You shouldn't care what other people think. Just do it.
And of course, intellectually, I've known that for decades, but
it's different to really do it.
And it's interesting because if I go, I'm going to do what I want to do, am I going to be able to get a job? Because it comes back to that,
Right.
Because I want to connect with people. You want your music to be connected.
Yeah.
It's interesting because we were talking about jazz, and that sometimes that jazz word scares people.
Exactly.
Because it's such a huge umbrella of music.
That's true.
When I think of my music, I want it to be accessible, and I think it is accessible.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And when I think what jazz is, I've tried, everybody tries to define jazz. And Louis Armstrong said, if you have to ask, you'll never know.
I like his answer.
I do like that one too. But jazz has those components of improvisation, but so does bluegrass and rock. People improvise. Reharmonization of the tune, well, that happens in different musics too. But the one thing that jazz has that others don't have is this thing called swing.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Can you elaborate on what swing is?
I can't.
Yeah, because it's almost like what Louis Armstrong said. And I listen to KUVO every day, and they said, let's
swing some. Yeah. And it's not just swing tunes, it's swing ballads, Brazilian stuff swings. I mean, there's a definition of swing. It's the dotted eighth note on the da-da-da. But it's just a groove.
I think it means that you want to swing.
Yeah.
You want to move.
It's just got a pocket. It's got a,
ooh, I like that.
It grooves.
Yeah. Grooves.
And it's not and swing is a tempo that occasionally happens in different genres of music, but it's pretty home at jazz.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the other thing that jazz has is a particular canon of music, like the Great American Songbook. But that canon is constantly expanding.
And I love that too.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. That's why jam sessions, jazz musicians get together and they can call standards and call tunes that everybody knows, and everybody can play off of that standard. And then we're going to talk about this. Let's have a conversation about Miles Davis's all kind of blue
through music
and through so we'll play that and we'll talk about it. Talk meaning solo and play.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
I guess that's what I love about it. The kind of non-definition. It's a feeling.
It is a feeling. Yeah, it is.
And that book I was telling you about, he talks about that feeling a lot. So maybe Winton is kind of trying to describe swing throughout the book.
Yeah.
But.
And I think to be accessible, it has to be melodic.
Right.
And I'm a singer, even though I don't consider myself a singer. I sing.
Oh, you're a beautiful singer.
Well, you're very kind. I love to sing, and lyrics are always important to me. I mean, I've heard tunes that I go, wow, that's an interesting tune. And then I look at the lyric and I go, I'm not going to sing that just because of the content of the lyric,
I respect that.
Well, because like we said earlier, we're putting stuff out there. I want to put out something that's positive or meaningful.
I always feel good after I leave. And we left too early the other night. I did really want to hear you and Crystal sing together. Did that happen?
That didn't happen, but it's going to.
Okay.
That's not something that we've done before.
Maybe.
That's something we really want to do. Yeah. I really enjoyed working with her, and she's a great percussionist, too.
Yeah. It was a very different thing to see you play with somebody else for me. Yeah. And she had this kind of graceful percussion.
She's steady and she's tasteful and she just lays it down.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
You guys were good together. So I'll look for that in the future. We were touching on how you got into jazz. Was that always kind of part of your...
Well, playing with Dad, I was playing a lot of those standards.
Back in the day.
And playing them on my trumpet. And that was the first time that I tried to improvise. And I went to college on a music scholarship.
Okay.
I didn't ever study music. All I had to do to satisfy the scholarship was play in jazz band and concert band.
Wow.
And so I did get more opportunity to play that way. When I went to Black Hills State, I played in jazz band too, but I played bass. And I don't read bass clef. I can read treble clef real well. And so I'm playing, and we're playing these tunes, and I'm like reading the guitar player's chord chart, and I'm just playing a line. And after a couple of classes, the director stops me and stops the band. He goes, "Wait a minute, no, sax and bass, you got this line together. Kick this line together." And I'm kind of going, oh crap.
What is it?
I can't just play what I want?
Right. Well, you were getting away with that.
I was getting away
like.
with it. And he was so cool. Dr. Temple was his name. And he was a great guy. And he goes, and he said, "That's cool. Sax, play the line for him so he can hear it."
Okay.
And then I figured it out. Okay.
So he
hit
was
it. Yeah, it was like,
okay with
not a
that.
problem. Let's go. Yeah.
Understood. That's rare in a
that's
teacher.
very rare. Yeah.
And don't we always remember the names of those teachers? That were,
Absolutely.
right?
we do,
No matter how
yes.
long ago.
And I can see his face. And
I love that.
Yeah.
Having been a teacher myself, I hope some
Yeah.
people remember my face.
But then the jazz thing was something I really wanted to get into when I got to Denver. And I
Okay.
started hearing all these great jazz musicians.
Where were you hearing them?
The first place that I went to when I moved to Denver was Mary's Off Larimer. You remember that place?
Nope.
It was a great little upstairs lounge, and I met Nelson Rangel. Nelson was playing with Mike Berry on drums.
Okay.
Did you know Michael? We lost Michael a few years ago.
Yeah.
Chris Engelman and or Kipper were playing bass. Who was the keyboard player in that band?
And
But
would this been late 70s?
This was 80s.
Okay.
Yeah. It was after I came back from South Africa, and I was there 84 and 85. Then that's when I moved to Denver, because my sister was there,
And there was some jazz. There was a jazz scene.
the jazz scene was incredible. You know, I mean, Paul Warburton, the bass player, it doesn't get any better than that. Do you know who Phil Urso was? Did you ever hear Phil Urso?
No, it was a little bit before I was
Yeah.
out and about. Yeah.
Phil Urso was Chet Baker's partner for
Oh my
17
God.
years.
Oh, wow.
Phil was in Miles Davis's band. He was
Oh
on a
my
couple of his recordings. And
How do you think we got those people in Denver?
you know, I don't know. I think they kind of settled there because they liked the lifestyle.
Okay,
And
fair
there
enough.
was a hub of jazz. I
Yeah.
mean, there was a lot of jazz going on. Ellen Rucker.
Now,
remember Ellen?
yeah, you're getting closer to people I know. Yeah.
Ellen Rucker probably taught me more about the repertoire than anybody else. I would go hear her play her solo piano and sing. It was off Larimer Street. I can't remember the name of the club. Small little piano bar. But God, I pestered her. She'd sing a tune and I'd go, who wrote that? Who did that? You know. And she was very, very gracious, and she would tell me
Nice.
all these things. There was just so many great players. Tonk Edwards, he was a guitar player.
Okay.
Tonk worked with Sarah Vaughan.
Oh, wow.
We lost Tonk just last year too.
Wow.
Dale Bruning, guitar player.
Feeling not very smart about
No.
these guys.
Oh, these are the older cats, and they were kind of
Yeah.
retired, but they were still playing.
And I
around
might
here.
have seen them and not
Yeah.
realized how well known they were. These venues in Denver that
Yeah.
I didn't know about because I was a little kid, probably.
But it was such a great jazz scene, and I mentioned Nelson Rangel, and then I started meeting all these other players of that generation. Mark Simon on bass, great player, and Eric Gunnison. Eric and Mark were Carmen McRae's last rhythm section.
Wow.
And then, of course, the great drummer Paul Romaine. There's just so many musicians there. And, of course, I met my best friend in my musical cohort today, Bob Rebholz, the sax player, that I play with a lot. We've got a gig up at the Muse in June 12th.
I'm coming to that.
Oh, you should.
I'm going to come to that.
You
I
should.
wrote it on the calendar in Lafayette.
I can't wait. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Lafayette is kind of developing a cool little scene.
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
A little.
But the Muse is a great little listening room, and it's like I'm really excited about that.
You'll be with him.
Yeah.
Then, so I get to hear
Yeah.
that. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, that.
And I actually can't remember how long ago I met Bob. I mean, I've known him for so long, it's like I've always known him. And I got to work with all these great musicians that tolerated me and brought me up and helped me a lot. Another one was that I met at the Boulderado. I was playing at the Boulderado, and I was supposed to be playing with a great sax player named Mark Miller.
Okay.
But Mark has been teaching. He may have just retired from Naropa. wonderful sax player. And I met him because I think I talked to Tuck and Patty, and Patty said, we have a really good friend who lives out there. You should look him up. His name's Mark Miller. And so I did, and I went and heard him play. And then Mark and I did a duo for quite a bit, and I had a duo scheduled with him at the Boulderado Hotel up in the mezzanine, and which used to be a happening spot. And I walked in, and Mark wasn't anywhere around, and there was a guy sitting behind the piano. And he had just played the cocktail hour, and he said, hey, my name's Chuck Lamb, and Mark just called me because he's got a migraine and he can't make the gig, and he wanted to know if it's cool with you, I'll just play with you.
Okay.
And I'm going, sure. Chuck is just an incredible musician. I don't know if you've ever heard of Chuck. He's with the Brubeck Brothers now.
Oh, okay.
And, but he had different bands. He used to have a band in Kansas City called Dry Jack.
Okay.
And they recorded a couple of CDs. Pat Metheny was coming up at the same time and putting a band together. And Pat had asked Chuck to join his band.
Wow.
And Chuck said, I'd love to, Pat, but I got my thing going
Got my
here.
own thing going
I got my
on.
own thing. So Pat hired Lyle Mays instead.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But Chuck is an amazing musician. And he's been with the Brubeck Brothers for maybe 20 years.
It's hard to say.
Brubeck Brothers.
You say it well.
Brothers. But he hung with Dave a lot before Dave died. So Chuck was one of my major influences in how to play music and how to listen and stuff. And being the sweetheart that he is, he allowed me to grow in his presence.
I love that. And I love how dedicated you are. I mean, down to the playing in the morning. And, you know, I've talked to a lot of musicians, and they don't all do that.
The ones I know do.
Well, because, you have surrounded yourself with high quality.
I mean, I think every artist is striving to be a better artist.
You would hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
It's funny, I actually had a person ask me, do you still practice? I mean, do you have to practice anymore?
Right.
And I'm going, boy, do I.
That's a fair question, because you think that somebody is kind of plateaued or achieved and is so seasoned, but that's also what I think is cool about you, that you don't think of yourself as finished.
Oh boy, no, not at all. And I didn't have those formative years where I really dug in, because I didn't know what I wanted to do at a younger age.
Right.
I mean, I really didn't.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I might not know what I really want to do right now, but no, I'm doing it. But when Charlie Parker was 18, 19 years old, he stayed with his mother, and he practiced 15, 17 hours a day.
Oh my gosh.
For years. That's where he came from.
Very dedicated.
So yeah, and I never had that time where I knew what I wanted to do that much, and
as long as we get to it, is how I'm looking at this point in my life. You know, just because I didn't do it when maybe society says that's when you're supposed to do it, other things get in the way.
And I don't know if we're ever going to get to it, but we're moving towards it. We're moving towards it.
Hopefully joyful and fun. And there was another piece on your website about vibration. Do you remember writing about that?
Yeah, that comes from my yoga years and studying with my philosophy teacher.
Okay.
And taking workshops with him, Dr. Douglas Brooks, because sound is vibration. Everything, Vach is vibration. Okay. Vach is voice. Vach, everything is vibration. Yeah. Now, some people will go, well, no, everything is light. Light's vibration.
Okay. Okay.
But so vibration that's what we're all doing. We're all vibrating, and the earth vibrates. The earth vibrates, you know.
Would you say that's related to energy?
Yes.
Well,
it's energy, and if we vibrate on the same energy level, things
harmonize.
Yes.
Can be.
Yeah.
So I've talked to various guests on my show about versions of what we're saying right now with vibration, energy, positivity, spreading that. And that just stuck out to me because one of my first interviews with a young man named Cipriano Ortega, and he mostly plays this bass that he built. Have you heard of him?
I remember your podcast.
Oh, did you? Okay. He talked a lot about that. Yeah, in his own way, and feeling like that was his way of living forever, kind of through that vibration, which I think is really cool.
Yeah. There's these different levels of vibration, but the instruments themselves vibrate,
Right.
They vibrate, and holding this in my, in my solar plexus and feeling the vibration. It's just healing. And singing, when you're singing, I just read something, and I won't be able to explain it at all. The stimulation of the vagus nerve.
Oh.
When you're singing, it's the only way to stimulate that nerve, and that is a way to heal depression and all these different things. I'll have to look that up. I just read that maybe a few weeks ago.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up too.
And chanting Om.
Sure.
That's
okay.
one of those things.
That's what I can do because I
Yeah.
only sing in the shower.
Yeah.
Or in the car.
And that's what I loved about yoga classes when we'd chant together.
Together.
And then doing kirtan, we're doing call and response.
Uh-huh.
And what we're really doing is we're breathing together. Yeah. And there's what's the other, not entanglement, maybe it is entanglement that I'm thinking of. You know how clocks in a clock shop they'll start to swing the same way.
Yes.
And women who live together, will
sync up.
Their pattern. So
That's
that sort of thing. That's
the magical pieces.
You can't
there.
ignore that.
No, you cannot. Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging
Matter of fact,
that.
you better pay attention to that. If you're paying attention to anything.
There's a cute little piece of that I remember as soon as you say that in a very sweet level. When I taught preschool, we were lining up, which I wasn't real strict about straight lines or anything. Let's go to the door and we're going to go outside. Make sure everybody's there, right? We're being safe and everything. And they'd all have their coats on or they're kind of assembled. And one of them started humming. And all of a sudden, they were all humming.
Oh, how sweet.
So I hummed with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we went outside. Yeah, just a really cute moment there.
Oh, that's great.
Magical.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of vibration, do you want to play a little bit?
Sure. What should I play?
I didn't have anything ready to ask because I like everything that you play.
I'll do something swingy.
Yeah.
And this is brand new.
Oh, goody.
I wrote this a couple of weeks ago. My wife and I have been living in Howard. We're in our 20th year.
Wow.
And we found this place outside of Howard that sits on 10 acres.
Oh my gosh, wow.
And it sits down in a dell. And we have creeks and big trees. And it's paradise. It's just paradise.
Real briefly, I meant to ask you, how did you find this area of Colorado?
Jamie used to come down and teach you. Well,
Okay.
we both come. But Annie from Yoga Tonic,
Okay.
Annie Jacobs, used to come to Vail and study with Jamie. And then she started her studio down here. And Jamie used to come down here and teach.
Okay.
And for several years. And every time we'd come down, we'd go, what a great little town, what a great community.
Where did you live before that?
We lived in Edwards.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we were in the Vail Valley. And we both really wanted to get out of there, even though that's where I make my living.
Right.
Nothing against Edwards or Vail Valley.
It's just the whole I-70 corridor has been difficult.
But we wanted to have some land, and so we couldn't do that up there. And one day Jamie said, what do you think about Salida? Build a little straw bale or, build a little house.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, well, that would be interesting. So we came down, and I think Annie hooked us up with this realtor named Kat Jackson. And we said, we're just looking for some raw land. And of course, we'd love to have water and trees on it. But everything that was listed within our price range, it was just barren land.
Right. Which Salida actually is kind of high desert until you...
Yeah. But we looked at a bunch of stuff, and then Kat said, I know this isn't anything that you want. If you don't mind, we're going by, I'll just show it to you.
Yeah.
And we drove in, and it's a 4-level house that the woman built for family, extended family
Okay.
living. And when we pulled up, the first thing Jamie said was, I'm not cleaning that. And the first thing I saw was that on each corner of this huge house were trees that dwarfed it.
Wow.
So these trees were planted in the late 1800s when that place was homesteaded. They're broadleaf cottonwoods, and unfortunately one has fallen. We said that's just too much house, and then we got out and we walked the land and we went, oh my God, look at this place. Cherry Creek runs through it, and the way it sits is we see one neighbor. And we don't see them when the leaves are on the trees. So you can't find that anywhere. And we looked at it and we went, what a beautiful piece of land and what a huge house. That what would we, And then Jamie thought, well, if we wanted to be there, we could do workshops maybe. Maybe we could do a yoga studio thing, which we did.
Activate the spaces.
And that was how we made a living until COVID. And then that...
Oh my gosh.
And then that ended.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's too
I mean, I
bad.
still played music and stuff, but that
Yeah.
was
Oh.
Jamie's endeavor, and it was a good one. And we had our philosophy teacher come out and teach there.
Oh,
for
wow.
what
I would
they-
have come.
It was a great thing. And now, even post-COVID, that's all shifted. The whole workshop thing and people coming. Plus, we've rented the space where the studio
Okay.
was to two of our dear friends.
So at least you
And
can still
so-
activate it.
Yeah.
That's sad what
But-
COVID took away.
Yeah. But that's how we ended up in Howard, and I'm so happy we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love those
It's
stories.
a lot of work.
But it sounds worth it.
Oh, it's worth it.
Absolutely.
It's worth it.
Yeah, I'm imagining it in my head, especially the cottonwoods and
You'll
stuff.
have to see it.
Yeah.
And you will.
I would love to. Okay.
So I'll do a song that I won't do. I've been doing a lot of heavier songs about the situation that we find ourselves in this world, the inhumanity of it all. But this is not that. This is called In Between the Sangrees and the Arkansas.
Ooh, I love it.
It's actually in between the Arkansas and the Sangrees. See, I don't know it. In between the Arkansas and the Sangrees, down in a valley, there's a warm breeze. A house sits down in the dell. That's where I fell more in love with you. In between the Arkansas and the Sangrees, just a little peace and quiet, if you please. We'll make a happy home, never to roam from this paradise. We will follow nature's lead. In spring, we'll plant the seed. Watch summer's love grow. Fall, we'll harvest all we can. Then go hand in hand down life's path to winterland. In between the Arkansas and the Sangrees, down in the valley, there's a warm breeze. We'll make a happy home, never to roam from this paradise.
Beautiful. And it's about our area here in your dell.
It's a silly little ditty that it's fun.
I bet your wife loves it too.
I think so. I hope so.
Yeah. What a treat that I got to have you in my own house.
Oh, what a treat to have to unfold some of my past and go, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When did that happen? Where was that?
It's good to reflect on
Yeah.
it. Well, he has to get on to BV, but thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for
Justin.
having me, Jill.
I can't wait to
it's
get this
really
out there.
a pleasure. Thank
yeah.
you.
Okay. See you soon. I was like, wow, my favorite jazz guitarist is playing in my house. Thanks for listening, and as always, please subscribe, rate, refer, and review Colorado Soul Stories on your listening platform. It costs nothing and helps to grow our listening audience.
Welcome to Nude Foods Market, where we make plastic-free grocery shopping convenient, easy, joyful, and local. We have everything from produce, snacks, meat, and fresh bread to home care, body care, and ready-made meals. The big difference is that our deeply researched organic and local groceries come pre-packaged in returnable glass jars. You shop just like a regular store. The only difference is that instead of putting all that packaging into landfill when you're done with it, You bring it back to us to be reused hundreds more times. Visit our stores in Denver and Boulder and get $10 off your first shop. Go to nudefoodsmarket.com/CO Soul to claim your coupon. We're locally owned, women owned, and working hard to fix our broken food system. So hope you can pop in and check us out soon.